Hello, welcome to another art and chat video. It's once again super late, and I'm filming a video. We're still in Mexico. I'll get into what I did today and what we've been up to in a minute, but I first have to get situated here. I have Adventure Time on the TV right now. And this time we've got a little more light. The last video was very dark because I only had one light on, but today I turned on the other ones. I don't have anything written down for today's episode, so we'll see what happens. I also, just like last time, I don't know what we're about to draw, but we will figure it out. Today is the 4th day that we're here, I think. We got here on the 19th, and it's the 22nd. 19, 20, 21, 22. What is that sound? I think it's the sprinklers. Last night they scared me. I was like, what is going on outside? But I think it's just the sprinklers. Anyways, we've been here for 4 days, and it's flying by. And I do get homesick though, so I do miss my room. I miss being home, but I'm fine. Last time we were here last year, it was really weird because we didn't get to see any of our family, so it was very different than how it usually is, and I had crazy homesickness. Is that a phrase? Homesickness? Can you hear the sprinklers outside? I don't know if you can hear them. Let me see. I don't think you can. No, you can't. It's just me. It's just me. But what was I saying? Homesickness. I'm not as homesick this time as I was last time. This time I'm telling myself, okay, enjoy it. Be here, not wishing you were at home and in your room, and don't miss your house. Just enjoy it. So that is what I'm doing. And it's flying by. Now I can't believe I'm going to be home soon. I don't know if I want to continue. Should I continue the same sketch that I was working on in the last video of Lucille? This one? Can you see that from here? I don't want to get up. This one? Should I do that one, or should I work on something else? I didn't do much in the last episode. I just did details in the hair and just like a tiny bit in the face. But I don't know what I want to do. We're going to figure it out. This is what I like about these videos that I'm doing, is I'm not worried about planning it out and being so rigid and like, oh no, I have to have a thing and I gotta be blah blah blah. I just do what I want to do. And the people who are going to watch it either way, so I don't stress myself out about it. I don't know what I want to do. I think I had an idea earlier that I was like, oh, I'll work on those, and then here I am and I don't know what I was going to do. I kind of don't want to work on the Lucille sketch because I don't feel too confident in it. in all honesty, maybe I'll just... I think maybe in this video, I will just tell some of the lore of the characters, maybe, and show you some different sketches that I have. Maybe that's what I'll do. Just a quick little detour. I'm in the mood to film. I'm not in the mood to draw necessarily, but I might draw some stuff. I also don't know how to do this without showing you like things that I don't want to be seen. I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through and screenshot or save some things, and then I'll just show you through my photos, through the Photos app. That's what I'm going to do. So as I do this, I'll tell you what we did today. Today we went to my cousin's ranch. It's like, I don't know, 30 minutes away from where we're staying. And we got there. Okay, the thing about my family here in Mexico, they tell you a time, that's just a suggestion. If they say 2 o'clock, what they mean is everybody will be there by 5. I'm not kidding. People were still showing up at 6. We got there at 1:30 to the ranch house. None of our family was even there yet. We got there before my cousin who owns the ranch. So I don't it's how it is here. But we got there, and at that, okay, I think I touched on it briefly in the last video, but my family down here, they're not my immediate family. They're my mom's cousins and aunts and uncles, but also not, I don't know, we're not like grouped in with them, if that makes sense. Like, we're family, and when we come here we get treated the same way, but we don't have access to the money. Me and my family are not rich, but when we come down here, we get to cosplay rich. So take that for what you will. We don't get their money, okay? I'm not rich. But when I'm here, I pretend like I am. And here, the ranch house is insane. This house even that we're staying in right now is huge. Huge. I don't know if you would qualify it as a mansion. It's just a big house. It's a very big house. And it's in like a really crazy high security gated community, and a bunch of other like millionaires live here, so we get to cosplay. But the ranch house is a huge mansion. There's a big stable arena with like literal seating, like an arena where you do bullfights and like rodeo shows and stuff like that. And then they have stables for the horses behind it that are nicer than people's houses. Like they're the stables look like mansions. And then off to the other side of the house, there's like 10 or 12 other houses that they built on the property, and it looks like a resort. It's insane. It's crazy cool, beautiful property, super cool houses, architecture, everything. And we were there today. The shower's making noises. I don't know what that's about. But we were there today all day and got to see the horses, They have a bunch of dogs. Everybody showed up, and it was fun. At like halfway through the day, the thing about this area is, in the day up until like 4 or 5 p.m. it's like sunny and warm, and then it gets rainy and cloudy and thunderstorms. So there was a thunderstorm today, and we had to get up from the tables because it was getting too wet because we were outside, and it was exciting. It was fun, but we were all getting wet, so we had to move. And a lot of my family down here does speak English. Almost all of the kids, I think all the kids do, who are like around my age or younger, I think they all speak English because they teach it in school here. But I said it in the last video, I think also, that I do feel a little awkward here because I don't speak Spanish, but that's partly my fault. And again, I'm waiting for my school to have a class that I could take. Oh, this is a cool sketch that I'll show you in a little bit. But yeah, we were there all day today. Don't know what we're doing tomorrow. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I do know what we're doing. We're getting breakfast tomorrow at the resort. Not the resort. This community that we're in has a golf course and like a country club thing. So we're going to go get breakfast there tomorrow. And then I don't know what we're doing after that. I don't have much stuff that I want to show, actually. I guess I'll show this sketch too. But yeah, we were there all day, and it was fun. I mean, I don't, even if I knew Spanish though, I wouldn't be talking that much. That's the thing. I was gonna say I felt so like weird because I don't really talk that much and there's not much for me to say, but even if I did speak Spanish, I would probably not talk that much because I don't like talking to people. But I was so overstimulated today while I was there because the music's loud. There's a bunch of people that I don't really know and yada yada. But it was still fun, nonetheless. Okay, I think I am ready to talk about some of the lore. I think I've said enough so far. Okay, so let's start this screen recording. I don't know where we're going to start. I think we should start with, bear with me because I'm going to have to figure out what is okay for me to say, what I want out in the world, and what is not going to spoil anything. Not that anybody currently cares, but I like to be secretive. I like to be, what's the word? Not ominous. When you're like, is it ominous? No. Not off-putting. When you're like, cryptic. That doesn't sound right either, actually. I don't know what it is. I do like to be secretive with what I do. But I don't care. We're going to tell a little bit of the story. I think I also should switch the battery on this camera because it looks like it's getting low, but I can't see from that far. But I'm going to switch it really quickly, and then we'll get into the lore. So 2 seconds. Ready to go. Almost. In 2 seconds, I'll be ready to go, actually. Ugh. You know when your shirt like doesn't just lay properly on your body? Oh my god. It's gonna make me really annoyed. Or when you're like just aware that your shirt. Oh. Why is this happening right now? Guys, I can't. Technical difficulties. This mic stand isn't that great. Because once I twist it, it tightens like the thing. Anyways. I think we're ready. Now. Screen recording in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, this is my Photos app. As I scroll through it, you will see lots of reference photos and random photos like this stock photo of hands. I use them for references, okay? So let's just ignore those things. We're going to start with Lucille, because I feel like I've talked about Asteroid a lot. I'll talk about him. Don't worry, we'll get to him. But I have not talked about Lucille that much, mainly because her story is one that I'm still developing. I know the gist and who she is, but I'm still developing her. These are some other outfits of hers. This is like her main outfit. Again, I haven't finished it and there's no detailing and whatever, but her main style is very vintage 40s, 50s inspired. Her style's a lot darker. It's more muted colors, nothing too bright. Neutral colors. She likes to stay in her cool tones. Like she likes purples, blues, some like deep reds, like this kind of red, and she likes gold jewelry. Her story, like I said, is one that I'm still developing, but I think I can say, basically, she has at the point of where the Asteroid cinematic universe kind of starts, or what is going to be where I kind of started, which is like now. I also have not figured out like a system on how to like date things, because the things that happen in this world aren't up to date with like current dates, and I also don't want to date it in the past, because then I gotta do a bunch of history research and stuff, and I don't know, I don't want it rooted in our world. So I think what I'm gonna do is just kind of base it in the future, because in the future you can kind of just pretend anything that you want has happened. So this is a pending idea, and in this video, if you have any ideas or suggestions of things to do, please comment, let me know, and I would love for people to be contributing and be a part of it, because as much as they are my characters and my creations and my art, I'm putting it out there for everybody, and once I put it out there, it is also yours. And I think that's the cool thing about art, is that it can be everybody's. So if you have any ideas, please comment them as I discuss. Just jot down notes, like whatever, you can say whatever, I don't care. But I want it to be on its own separate timeline, because I also, the style of the things that I do, I mix a lot of vintage pieces with non-vintage pieces, and I mix it with current day items, like in our lifetime currently, and I kind of just create my own idea of items. So there's no timeline. So for the lack of better terms, we're gonna have, I've created like a little timeline of events. There is, and these are all relative to asteroids' lifetime and age. That's how I've been planning everything out, based around his age, because I haven't found out like a number year system yet. So we're doing it based on his age, and his event timeline. So in the center, this is where like the story starts of what I've posted and what I've been doing. The story starts at the moment where asteroid leaves space and comes to Earth. This is like our middle ground. I guess if you're looking at the video where I am, this is the middle, okay? Then we have going to Earth, pre-evacuation, and then there's post-evacuation when he's on Earth. Asteroid leaves Earth, or leaves space to go to Earth when he's like 17, 18. At the time that he gets here to Earth and meets Lucille, I don't know the exact age. I have it all written down on my mirror at home. So these are not like canon ages, because I forget what the exact ones are, because I did all the math, because there's other characters that it lines up with and years and whatever. So I think she is in her late 20s, early 30s. She's like 29, 28, 30, somewhere around there, when she meets Asteroid, when he comes down when he's 18. So that's where he is here. Pre-evacuation, Lucille's obviously alive and existing on Earth, and when before meeting Asteroid, she has obviously an entire lifetime story, and basically her story is what was I saying? No, because, okay, this is why I brought in the timeline. At the time that she meets Asteroid, the midpoint, the flee to Earth, she has no family. She has no siblings, no parents, no like surrounding family. Her surrounding family, I have not even thought of, I'll be honest with you right now, but they will be alive. I don't know if we're ever going to see them. But if she does have any surrounding family, like aunts, uncles, cousins, they're alive. Unless they're just old and died. But her immediate family, her parents, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't spoil things. I'm just going to leave it at that. She has no family. Some are dead. Some might not be here in her life. I don't know. And I'm not going to say. She has no immediate family, is the point. So her whole life leading up to when she meets Asteroid is sad. A lot of things happen to her. I eventually intend to give her her own book, her own comics, God willing, her own movie. Her, Otto, and Asteroid are like the trio, so they're obviously very important to me, and she deserves her entire story to be told, and we will get there one day. I'm still working on just getting Asteroids out there, and then little bits and pieces of Otto, and then Otto will also get his own thing. All three of them are going to get their own stuff because they're the main characters of this universe. But leading up to meeting Asteroid, a lot of things happened to her. A lot of violent and horrible things happen. But through it, she's a person who's very optimistic, and despite everything that has happened and anything that will happen to her, she's always positive. She's not overly animated and not overly happy, or just like, she's not like an outgoing person. She's very reserved. She's very calm. She's very collected. She's very, like, if you were to see her out and about, you would probably think she might be a little rude or just like reserved. But once you get to know her and talk to her, once she trusts you, you see like all sides of her. But she is very reserved, keeps to herself, but knows when to put people in their place, and she does not let people walk over her. She will say what she needs to say. She doesn't care if it ruffles someone's feathers. If it needs to be said, it needs to be said. But she's very, extremely strong, and she, despite everything that's happened, is very level-headed, She's not a mess and ruining her life. Like, she puts it behind her, but not to ignore it, just to move on, She's not pushing it back to pretend things didn't happen. It's just like, she accepts the things that have happened, and there's nothing you can do to change it, but you can change the future. And so that's kind of her demeanor. So when she meets Asteroid, she tries to teach him that type of mindset and how to go forward in life, and not to dwell on the things that have happened to Asteroid, because things happen to him too, which again will be told. But she's a very important part of Asteroid's learning process. And Asteroid's, when he gets to Earth, he's very immature. He's very, not immature like stupid and like childish, immature mentally, and he's very stubborn. He comes to Earth with kind of like a very streamlined view and a fixed mindset. And through meeting Lucille and seeing how she carries herself, he learns to be more optimistic and accepting and open to changing his future. But that's a little bit about her. I don't know what else I could say. Her family owns Eclipse Ranch Motel, which is the kind of main place where they all live in this universe for the time being. The history with Eclipse Ranch Motel, let me see if this is a sketch of it used to be called Solstice Ranch Motel a long time ago, years ago. And this was like the old design, which I pretty much kept the same. Let me see if I have. Oh, wait, here's some more references for Lucille. Lucille is Latina. Here's some photos of like outfits that she would wear, things that she would like. These were my reference photos for Asteroid's Rodeo, which are just some outfits for her that are, Western inspired. Do I have any Eclipse Ranch? stuff. Here's the current logo. Oh, this is also a really old sketch of what I thought it was going to look like. Looks nothing like this now, but the logo is still the same. But her family owns the ranch and the motel, and if you read the first chapter of Asteroids Rodeo, which is on my Instagram and my website, I kind of talked about the history briefly, which is like it used to be a very bustling, busy attraction in Bliss. Bliss is also the city or town that this whole stuff, all this takes place in. For now, Bliss is a fictional place in California that I made up, and it's like deserty. It originally was going to be very like Palm Springs desert, like kind of that 50s kitsch type of vibe. But then when I went to start writing Asteroids Rodeo, that book, I changed it to be more gothic, Western Gothic. Like I mixed Gothic themes and architecture with Western and desert cowboy. So that's the new vibe of it, and I think that fits a lot more than like 50s. I used to really like, I still do, but I used to really like kind of 50s styling and architecture and branding and all that stuff, but I think it's kind of been a little too overdone, and I started to phase out of it. So when I went to go write Asteroids Rodeo, the book, the style change was necessary, and it feels more like what I want to create going forward and what interests me, if that makes sense. Like it just feels better. So yeah, it was a very popular ranch motel because they would do a rodeo there, and rodeos were like the big thing of Bliss. Oh, speaking of Bliss, crazy story. Actually, wait. I don't want to give too many like personal details away, but I think it's okay to say there's my family on my dad's side lives in Idaho, and I love Idaho so much. But in the town that my family lives in there in Idaho, the town next to it is called Bliss. And I didn't know that. When I came up with my Bliss, the reason I named it Bliss had nothing to do. I didn't know that was a thing. I had no clue. I swear to you, I had no idea. But I named it Bliss because back when I was writing the first draft of the comic series, which is canceled, or not canceled, it's just completely rewritten now. The comic series is still happening. God knows when. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I will. But when I was writing that comic series originally, it was still kind of the same premise of Asteroid doesn't feel comfortable in space, so he thinks, okay, if I come down to Earth, it'll be better. And when he comes here, he stumbles upon a town called Bliss. And it was just like the play on words of like, he stumbles upon bliss. And things are good. But that kind of theme has changed where things aren't great. Like he comes down here, he stumbles upon bliss, but it's like fake bliss, if that makes sense. Which it will make sense later on once I've given more storyline stuff. But in Bliss, when Lucille was a kid, rodeos were the big thing. Everybody went to the rodeos on the weekends, and it was like the talk of the town type of thing. And Eclipse Ranch was one of the main rodeos. It was Eclipse Ranch and Deadwood Ranch, which we'll get to Deadwood Ranch in a minute. But they were the two main ranches, and then the events that happened to Lucille and Lucille's family happen to them, and then Eclipse Ranch shuts down, and then it kind of gets a bad reputation and people don't want to go there anymore, so it becomes like an abandoned motel, because Lucille cannot keep up with the upkeep and can't afford to have people upkeep it, so she lives there in her room, and that's kind of all she pays attention to. And even though she doesn't have money, her style and everything is very high taste, and she makes do with limited resources, but all of her stuff is nice. Like, she takes care of everything, she appreciates everything that she has, and presents herself as elevated and perfect as she can, due to the kind of reputation that her family gets when the tragic events unfold, which will be told later. But in order to kind of not let people have this bad idea of her and her family, she does all that she can to stay looking good, just appear as nice as she can, because she doesn't want anything to be like, oh, look at Lucille's, like, she looks down and out of whatever, I don't know what they say, like, she's not looking too good or whatever. It must be because her family's blah blah blah, you know? So that's that. They own the motel. And the motel is in her name. I guess I can't not keep it a secret. Okay, her parents die. It's not a crazy plot twist or anything. It's just her parents are dead. So the motel goes into her name. She owns it. She lives there. And when asteroid crash lands onto Earth, he crash lands way far back, way back into the land of the ranch, of Eclipse Ranch. Eclipse Ranch Motel has tons of land, acres on acres on acres that go all the way back into the mountains of Bliss County. So he crash lands there so far back that when he initially lands, he can't see civilization. Like I'm just trying to give you a picture of how much land is on Eclipse Ranch. Because they used to have cattle, they used to have everything, you know. It was a full-on ranch. And when he finally makes it to civilization, he makes it to the motel, because Eclipse Ranch Motel and the ranch rodeo venue are like perched on top of a hill overlooking Bliss town, the town of Bliss. The ranch, Eclipse Ranch Motel, is a little off the beaten path of Bliss, which is already a town that is off the beaten path. So it's atop a small hill, and it overlooks everything. So he stumbles upon that, and Lucille instantly takes him in and says that he can stay there because he doesn't have anywhere else to go. And the reason that Lucille does that is because she has a big connection and tie to the aliens, because I sound insane when I explain this to anybody, but all of this lore is crazy. I feel crazy when I say all this, because It's like, damn, you're spending a lot of time up in your head, aren't you, Nolan? Yeah, I am. Too much time. But she has a connection to the aliens because back when she was a kid in Bliss, there was an alien resort that they would go to, and when she was a kid, it was very common for aliens and humans to go back and forth and like inter travel because, like I said, it's in the future. I think, for the most part. So, travel to space is like common in this universe. So, that used to be a big thing, and then it kind of started to die down because of. I don't know if I can say this yet either. If I say that, I don't know that it spoils anything. I don't think it does. The space government, the Space Force, is what I'm calling it for now. The Space Force. I guess I do have to say this because it ties into Asteroid and his entire plot. So the Space Force finds out that they can control the aliens, their civilians on Asteroid's planet at least. I don't know how many other planets there are yet. That I haven't thought that far. But they find out that they can control their thoughts and their mind and get them to do things if pause. Asteroid. I'm not good at telling this because there's so many things that tie into here, and this thing ties into this, and that's why this person says this, and it's a whole spider web of things. Asteroid has 2 stars. Every time I draw him, every time you see him anywhere, he's got 2 stars, except the sculptures that I do of him because I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Anytime I draw him, he's got 2 stars. Back when Lucille was a kid, so pre-Asteroid being born, all aliens had these 2 stars. It was just part of it, and the stars like orbit around them, and it's just part of their brain, it's part of just how they are. They're aliens. I can do whatever I want, okay? It doesn't have to be anatomically correct. There's no such thing as an anatomically correct alien. No. I'm gonna say and do whatever I want. So, it's part of them. Space Force finds out that they can... Jeez, I'm like blowing through these. I have Adventure Time playing on in the background. I'm blowing through these episodes like crazy. And every time I just have to skip it so that there's background noise. They find out that they can control them if they take away their stars. Their stars are basically an extension of their brain, and is what gives them consciousness, gives them like own personal beliefs and thoughts, and it's what makes each alien individual. And they find out that if they extract their stars, then the Space Force can like mass control them and get them to do what they want, use them for their benefit. And it is somewhat a commentary on our government, like the US government, and just the system that we have, how it's not great, and it just puts everybody into working, and the system is messed up, and yada yada. So it is a slight commentary on that. I don't want to comment too much on it because I just don't think I'm smart enough to do that, but it is kind of rooted in some of those ideas. I'm going to go back down to Lucille. And they take their stars. I think I have to pause it there because there's a big portion of that I can't say. Basically, through this period of time, many, many, many years, not too many, but like a few years, everybody's stars get taken away. The government then tells all the aliens that, like, it's not safe to go to Earth. You can't go to Earth anymore. So they stop going to Earth. And the alien resort in Bliss kind of becomes vacant and abandoned. And when Lucille was a kid, she loved the aliens, and her family was always at the resorts, and the aliens would come to the rodeo shows, and then the people would go to the alien resorts and hang out. And Lucille had a few best friends that were aliens, and she had one best friend in particular who was like her all-time best friend. So when Asteroid comes to Earth, she's shocked that an alien is here, because they haven't been here for so long. It's been over 20 years, and it was like a big thing in the news, and it was a big thing for the governments on Earth and also governments in space. Like a big thing, and it got cut off. And so when Asteroid comes down to Earth, Asteroid is the only alien. When he's alive, he's the only alien that has his stars, which will be told in another story. That is something I cannot tell you yet as to why he has them. He just does. That's all you need to know for now. So she sees him, and she's like, what? Like, how, what is happening? And then he's just like, he kind of lucked out because of running into Lucille as the first human he meets, because the other humans in Bliss are not fond of him, and they will not be fond of him once they see him there and meet him. But Lucille has a connection to the aliens, and she takes him in and lets him live in the motel. And yeah, I don't know what the original point was. I think I was just trying to tell you that her family owns the motel, and that's why Asteroid lives there, because she owns it and can like let him live there. Originally, when I was writing the comic series, that was a completely different thing, and I can tell you that because I'm not ever going to use it, and it's not true. But I used to have it be that Asteroid crash lands, finds an abandoned motel, kind of just makes himself at home, and then Lucille tries to escape what's happening in her family, and she also stumbles upon the motel, and she's like, are any of these rooms available? And Asteroid's like, I don't really own it, but yeah, make yourself at home. Like, it's not mine either, but you can totally stay here with me. But that's not what happens now. But that was the original, and I don't know. I want to tell you the rough drafts of ideas and stuff. But yeah, her family owns the motel, and I think that's all I'm going to say for now. These are the sketches of her outfits for Asteroid's Rodeo book, the book. Just some of her like cowgirl outfits. We have this one, which is just, like a dress type of thing with some boots, and a hat that curls up because I love curls and little loopies. That's why her hair is like that. And then here's another outfit just for different variations. Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about for Lucille right now, I think. What's over here? Okay. This is a character sheet, I suppose, of some other aliens in space that pertain to Asteroid. So, this is Celeste. This is Asteroid's best friend. I mentioned how Asteroid's the only one with stars, and because the Space Force can control everybody kind of hates him there, except for Celeste. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if she has an extended consciousness like Asteroid. She definitely doesn't have to the extent that he does, because then it would completely change the story. He's the only one, but I don't know, for some reason she befriends him, and they're best friends since like kindergarten. So this is Celeste. Yeah, I'll just keep it at that. We don't know too much about her yet. This is Asteroid's dad. Not much to say. He's not a big character so far. I don't have that much for him. This is Asteroid's mother, but I don't like her design, so we're gonna change it. But for now, this is her. Basically, my idea was that as these aliens get older, their color becomes more desaturated. Like they start losing their color and eventually turn to like just like a gray or a white or a black, depending on the tone of the color that they are. But like Celeste is like a fresh pink, Asteroid's like a nice fresh ash blue, and then eventually as they get older they will turn to gray. His mother is not gray because I don't know how to say it. I can't say it. But I'll let somebody theorize what that means. If you understand it, you'll understand. This is the space leader. I love her design. I think I nailed it. I think I did pretty good. I think I really got across the leader essence. But she's definitely a villain. Like, she is a true villain. I'm not going to give you some stupid, watered down villain. She is going to be Cruella de Vil villain. True evil spirit, evil heart, no compassion. She's just fiending for more for her. She's selfish and she's a villain. I don't have a name for her yet. It's just Space Leader is what I've been going with, but I need to find a name for her soon. Again, I don't know what planet they live on. I don't know if I'm gonna make a fictional planet, if I'm gonna do like Saturn or something. I don't know. And I also couldn't for the longest time decide what I wanted to do for the other people up in space. Like I was like, do I want everybody to be a moon shape like him? Because it feels kind of limiting to make characters in that shape. But this was me, like, these are actually the first designs of them, so they'll change as we go on. But this was kind of me just experimenting with different shapes and how to make different moon people look like different people and not all like Asteroids. So like his dad's curl is on his chin for like, I don't know, to kind of symbolize a beard. His mom's curl is up at the top. Her curl is crazy with a very pointy chin. Celeste has very tame curls. So some moon people will have no curls, some people will have curls, some people will have an oddly shaped moon and stuff. There's gonna be different things. This is Deadwood Ranch which is also in Bliss, but I don't want to talk about it that much. Otto, my little Otto. This is Asteroid's best friend, companion. Like, him and Otto are like this, and then Lucille's in there, but the two of them are kind of the duo, if that makes sense. But they're also all a trio, but it's not in the way that, like, Asteroid and Otto are so close, and then there's also Lucille. It's like, when it's the three of them, they're all the three of them. But when Lucille's not around, it is the two of them, if that makes sense. I don't know. He's kind of like the sidekick of the two of them, actually, of Asteroid and Lucille. I don't know. There's no imbalance in this trio. Nobody's toes are stepped on. Nobody's like more looked out for than the other. They're all great friends to each other. But Otto, his kind of backstory is his model of robot was designed by Space Force, the same Space Force up in space that extracted the stars and is responsible for all of Asteroid's hardships in life. Created this model of robot to be teachers' aides in schools, to help in schools and teach kids and whatever. So Otto's very intelligent. He's very quick-witted. He's funny. He's smart. He's very clumsy, though, despite he has a lot of knowledge, but it doesn't translate to how he interacts with the world. He's clumsy. He's goofy. He has like childlike tendencies where he's just like, lights are on, no one's home, but he just knows a bunch of things. But when it comes to just like interacting with people and being him, he's very clumsy and goofy, and he's a character for sure. But he knows a lot because he was a teacher's aide, and he loved being a teacher's aide. Each one of these robots has consciousness, their own individual consciousness, but they're programmed to be whatever it is that they're programmed to be, like a teacher's aide. And at some point, the government is like, okay, these robots are not suitable for the classrooms anymore, because some of the kids start getting scared of them because one of them malfunctions, and then the kids just kind of have this image of them malfunctioning, so they start thinking, okay, maybe these robot designs aren't child friendly enough because they, he has these little kind of devil horns, and he's very boxy and kind of rigid, so they decide to take his model of robot out of the schools, and they start using them as kind of like military service bots in a way, and they kind of do all the dirty work for the government. And Otto refuses to do that. He loved being helpful in a way that was helpful, not in a way that's violent or bad. And he loved being in the schools and helping the kids, and that, like, he loved it. He was so passionate about it, and he looked forward to it every day. So when they take his model out to kind of do the dirty work for the government and be assistants, he refuses and becomes violent. He becomes angry, and we meet a side of him that seems like wouldn't be capable from him and his small body and his demeanor, but unfortunately he's got that side to him. So he is protective of Lucille and Asteroid, and if something happens, he goes crazy. He will curb stomp you if you cross them. Like, he's doesn't care. As nice and as carefree and as friendly as he is, do not cross him or the people that he loves, because he's a robot. He's got some crazy powers. But he meets Asteroid when he is sent on his final mission, and his final mission is to go after Asteroid and retrieve him back to space when Asteroid leaves space to go to Earth. So that's when the two of them meet. That's when they meet officially. I'm gonna do a mini comic strip where Asteroid and Otto interact in school. Like, he was the aide for Asteroid, but they never know that. Or maybe not never, but they don't know that they've met before in school. But their first official meeting is on Earth when Asteroid comes to Earth and Otto has to go after him. And then Asteroid kind of ends up telling him, like, you don't have to do this for them. You saw what they did to you. Why are you doing this to them? And then, or like, why are you doing this for them? Like, why are you helping them out? They don't care about you. You're just a machine to them. And Otto needed to hear that from someone else, because he knows that, but he just, he's kind of in denial. And through meeting Asteroid, he kind of changes Otto's mind, and then Otto, befriends Asteroid, and they become best friends, and then they meet Lucille, and yada yada yada. But that's kind of his backstory for the most part. Here's a photo of the crash landing that I made, and then Asteroid escaping from Space Force when they come down to get him. This is right before Otto lands and they meet, but he's fleeing the scene, obviously. But yeah, some of these, like, this drawing doesn't really have a story yet and doesn't necessarily mean anything. I just like the imagery of it. What else? This is the missing poster for when Asteroid flees space. They put this all around Earth and through space and whatever. So that is like part of the storyline. The Ghosties, they do have a role in the Asteroid Cinematic Universe, but not for a while. I'm going to talk. I'll tell their story in October, because they have an entire universe too. I come up with too many ideas sometimes. It's almost annoying. This is moments before Asteroid makes the switch to go to Earth. As we can see, he's looking off into Earth, into the distance, but that is kind of like the last moment of calm before all hell breaks loose. But yeah, that's some of the lore. This is the first sketch I ever did of Lucille, which is not good, obviously, but that was the first ever sketch. Yeah, this is The Dead Yellow Bird, which is a little poem that I have yet to post, but eventually I will. And it's based off of a bird that I watched die in real life. It ran into a window at my house, and I couldn't save it, because I was too scared to touch it and try to save it and scare it and then kill it, or maybe I like moved it wrong and killed it. So I sat there and I just watched it die, and it's something that haunts me every day. So I wrote a poem about it. I made an entire story about it. It's a mini character in Asteroid's world, and this is the sketch of it. It's a little robot bird. But yeah. What else? I think that's all for the moment. Yeah. I think my issue is I have like almost too much material that I don't know where to start with. So if anybody has any suggestions on how to start kind of telling the stories, please let me know and help, because I don't know what to do. But that's some stuff about the characters, about the stories and whatnot. So if you have any questions, let me know. Suggestions, ideas, let me know. It's midnight, so I'm gonna go to bed. Yeah. I could talk about this for hours, but there's also so much that I can't say yet that I would like to, and I will be able to eventually one day, but that's part 1 of the lore. Yeah, I'm gonna go now. So, thank you for watching and listening if you made it this far, and I hope that one day these characters will mean as much to you as they do to me, and you can find something you relate to. And yeah, I don't know, my brain is slowly shutting down as the seconds pass, so I'm gonna go to sleep now. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.